yourself again. We have 3 topics, and what we're going to do is we discuss each of the 3 topics, all of you. Each table will have a facilitator, so we have allocated David Bassett here on this table. There is Mieke, and there's Giuseppe there. What we will do is each group will discuss each topic for 35 minutes, and then the facilitators will change table. So the participants, you will all stay at the table that you're at, but you'll be discussing a different topic. So each of you, each group will be discussing 3 different topics. The facilitators will also explain to you the topics, a little bit more details about it. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I will keep time. After the interactive working groups, we'll have a little break, and then we'll come back plenary, and the facilitators will then report back to the whole group what came out of your discussions. So are there any questions at this stage about this exercise? No? Okay. If each of the facilitators can take a group now then, and then we can start.
So what I learned from these innovative tools is it all has to do with thinking about what do we want to convey as knowledge, and search the proper instruments. And it can be that the classical lecture is a proper instrument. It simply can be.
We come back there.
And if you're a passionate teacher,
yes.
We do a lot also in Wageningen of online courses, MOOCs, and this kind of things.
I don't personally like
but you never
online
can replace
courses,
the face-to-face contact with a very good teacher.
Yes.
Depends on the subject.
So there are many possibilities for what is innovative. I don't know. I don't know what is innovative. Good teacher and bad teacher, an effective teacher.
Yes.
and you asked about the problems. Well, yes, there are many problems, but the major problem for me is assessment, evaluation. Because typically, in case studies, in working groups, as you mentioned, what we also do a lot, is you give assignment, or you give papers that they have to read, they have to come back, they have to synthesize, they present it. In the end, your group of 5, 1 does it. And you give them an average number for the whole group. It's not fair. So how do you assess them individually in such a case? That's different. Simply difficult.
I think we can share, but I'll let you go first.
As I've said, I don't normally lecture, so it's like, what do I see as innovative teaching? I really don't know. When I was in the uni, which is many moons across, one of my teachers said to me, "Kira, you know, this is scholastic, it's new." And we don't need anymore. Internet was still not existing. It was coming up. And I said, you don't need to inform anybody. You don't give information anymore. Inform people to use the information that is out there. It's too much information out there. So you need to be formed to think. My previous job, I did do lecture. And lecture, we have lots of subjects in Aquaculture MSc and PhD course, which because it was in America, it had formal teaching throughout the PhD as well. And I chose to teach one of the subjects that was up for grabs was research seminar. And basically, what it consisted of was like kind of contributing students writing the thesis correctly, because because you supervise thesis, people know just like some people write well, some people have real ideas, make romances, and some people write well, you never know what to do. So I was responsible for the introduction and material and things, and it was a lot based on how to become critical thinkers in a way. First of all, introduction. You don't want the students to just copy-paste anything that the kind of say, okay, I did have small groups, so you can next class, it's 2 hours class, all of you have to do a 5-minute presentation of a paper that is relevant for your thesis. Any questions following amongst each other's people, like why did you choose this paper? Does it live to your expectations? Is there a problem with experimental design? What references you think it's important now that you've read this paper? What references do you think are in the reference list that are important for you to go and read? What is that? Do you actually know the meaning of that word that you just, infection? What is an infection? You kind of start really squeezing them, and then you squeeze each other, so it wasn't just as being, but they were kind of, the first classes you have to be a bit, they were a bit scared, is the usual thing. So the first, I usually, okay, there's this paper, I think it's the worst paper I've ever read. This one is the worst one I've ever written. So next time you come and tell me what's wrong with this, really tell them in advance, this is bad, so I'm expecting you to criticize it, not to say what's good about it. Because otherwise they will all shout. There's this thing, I'm young and then I have this person and I'm going to tell them that they wrote a bad paper, but it's not wrong. You kind of move on into that. So now you come and tell me why it's bad. Explain to them, really start making them think that they don't believe everything. You just kind of go to Google and whatever comes out of Google, kind of, for the methodology, a good trick to understand. You start like, okay, we can use this technique, why, what's the advantages, the inconveniences, is it really relevant, what is that? That was what I did.
No, it's just,
More or less.
so it connects also to what Johan said about the provide this constructive feedback to the students, not just for the assessment sake, but for them to be critical thinking. So it's linked a lot with this. And I don't like assessment either. I have to be honest. But we're forced to do. We're forced to give a grade, but the grade is just a number. And I always tell the students, don't focus on the number. And they say to me, yes, but if I don't get a good grade, I cannot get. You can get a job even with a shit grade. Don't worry, go ahead. The most important thing is you to learn and to be motivated to learn more.
Yeah, you said in the thesis at least because that was the final product.
Yeah.
You don't give a grade.
Who's going to read it again? I'm not going to read my thesis either.
Give grades, about 20 different kinds of criteria for a thesis. But I think assessment is good because you need to evaluate them always. It's the issue we are talking about is that we try to stimulate that learning process within the student, and that varies in place, in written and in degree, from individual to individual, and that's what we as teachers need to have in mind. That this student might go slowly, and that one, but for each of them we should try to stimulate that they learn.
Yeah.
And then whatever tool we use is innovative.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And before I give to you, then I would like to ask you just if you know some of you already answered me, but if you know just the definition of innovation. I mean, if you have to define innovation, how would you define it in 1 or 2 words?
Modify and improve better.
Modify and improve.
The classic definition.
Okay, you?
Yeah, everything is innovation because whatever we do is something new.
So something new.
In practice, what I do, it's a discussion we have also in marketing. But in practice, in the daily life, I see that people usually talk about innovative methods as soon as there is, let's say, ICT supported tools and not business.
I disagree. But if I can, I don't have experience in tertiary degrees education. However, I do have direct experience with the farmers studying agriculture. I deal with them directly, which some of them have CS degrees, some of them have CS degrees. So the way I'm going to see innovative teaching, the main idea is to serve the student-oriented still. For instance, if I take like formal education, which now I'm starting to teach, very statistic, which is very fundamental. The idea is to encourage their interest, because not everybody likes the subject. Some people are very focused. They don't like this, but because they're forced to, because it's basic, it's a prerequisite that they have to take. So from my experience as a student and just become a teacher, I make them feel comfortable, make them understand why it is fundamental. Papers. Otherwise, they don't see the functional of sitting there, doing the assignment, try to get the grades or whatsoever. It's not the grade degree. I disagree with the grades, but we need to assess certain level of understanding. Otherwise, how we know that they are getting good information?
Now, how do you assess?
Yes.
Just that's another thing.
Yes.
Depending on the university, for example, in Italy, they do 99% oral exams.
I know.
Where you ask the questions and the student can take the time to explain, and you understand if the student actually learned it or just memorized it.
Yeah.
While in multiple choice or multiple guess, if you like,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
No, but there is, we should I formulate it? About 25% of the, no, we usually, if there is a multiple choice, because it's not the one, but if there is a multiple choice, it's usually with the A, B, C, and D. It's a 4. And then you can say there is always possibility for guessing, so that's 25% chance. And that means if somebody
that 25% is correct, then
that you have to correct it statistically for 25%. So if you have 10 questions, suppose, if you would have 10 questions and you write and you have 1 right, you do not get 80% of the points. You get less because you have this correction for the 25%.
Well,
And statistically, it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
But you never can do it with 10 questions. You have to have a lot of questions.
Yes. However, there are always loops in this type of assessment methods. However, this is what when I took over the units with 3 others lecture, we see the problem. So what we do is the approach that every week we assess the tutorials. Like the tutorials encourage the student to think and to do. We tell them it's a lot of effort to do it. Partial of the tutorial they have to handwritten because that's the skill that's lacking among the students, and some part of it we put as software integrity kind of things. And then for the examination, we decided that we have MCQs and we have essay questions. For the essay, among 4 of us, we decided, like one of us pull on the critical thinking, which is we have open-ended questions. They have to think, they have to, give the answer. And the scheme for that is really broad. But it tests on the understanding, not memorizing, not the, things like that. One of the questions will focus on calculation, because that's the statistics about. It's difficult because this is for the first time we implement it and people are looking at us like, really, you guys doing this? But we believe that student must be tested on the understanding. If they don't understand things, as you said, they're just going to memorize, not knowing what's going on. And what my batch faced before, they did wrongly on the statistics and things like that, and people start to get frustrated. Don't you learn it at a very
Do you have a question that I have? Do you have an evaluation of your exam questions?
Yes, we do.
By whom?
Well, this is we have external, but the external is still the local.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, in relation to the objectives of the learning objectives that you put.
Yeah, this is the thing. We aren't allowed to change the structure of the studies because we have the guidebooks. We have to follow. It's we're gonna it's not going to possible to do that. The university will just So what we did is we go one by one and see where then we can modify it, where we see the practicality. Sometimes on those sub-topic we cannot change because it's so theoretical. So that's we come with the conventional classic approach. But when it comes to application, that's where we try to do all the innovation. We modified it where we can use software, where we can actually use actual data from all the, like 4 of us, we have different fields, we put it in, and then, we can't change a lot, but we try to maximize whatever loops that we can so that we improve that particular unit. But to be honest, it's a challenge because we have, this semester was the smallest number, which is 99. Often we have 200 students. So we thought that it's perfect timing to give it a go, see whether it's going to be practical or not. But during the examination questions, the vetting session, everyone's not happy because of...
In the learning goals, usually all the teachers, they write up to learn, to understand, and to be capable to apply these sort of things, and then a bit more, right? And then we have asked the teachers for each single class hour, not for the whole course, but for each lecture class that they gave, or for whatever, to write down the same, what they specifically wanted to reach there. And subsequently they were doing the exams, and then I have asked for the courses that we as my team is teaching. We engaged a specialized education specialist to go through this, and to do an exercise with the same experienced teachers. People teach already for 20 years. And to go through their exam questions and see how that relates to this level of integrated thinking. And then you see that when they were saying, they have to be capable to do this, and this, they were actually testing at a lower level. Although they themselves were thinking, but if you really went through these exam questions, do you really test now?
Okay.
It's a skill on itself to write proper exams.
Coming back to the motivation, how to motivate the students, we have a problem in Indonesia. Because one semester, like the first semester in my department, the students have to take 9 subjects. So it's very various, and so probably the students, and all of them would have tasks and have assignments, and each week they might have a practicum as well. So we think that the students sometimes come to class with they're already wiped out because of the overwhelming assignments that they have to make, and this is something that it's actually
we call it studyability.
Yes. Ability to study.
Is it possible? Is it feasible to do all the things that you ask them to do?
And actually, the thing is that I don't know what those people up there in the ministry are doing. I mean, if we can combine, like there are similar subjects which they can actually combine together, rather than giving students like 9 subjects per semester, why not just 4 or 5, but more deeply? And I think that way students would be more engaged and more concentration on these subjects.
I think modular teaching modular is kind of changing that. You don't think about 5 things at the same time. You have
do a week's block.
Yeah, exactly like that. I think that is been helping a lot in other institutions that complained about that. And I think it makes a lot of sense for the students because they can focus, and for the teachers because sometimes if they are being researchers and lecturers, it's best to say, okay, this 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know how long it takes for the subject itself. It's all compacted here. I'm 100% for my students now, and then once you can be 100% for something else instead of trying to play 9 to 11 here, 11 to 1 there. For me, it's this modular system. It's
true, but also my university has been has tried to change to a modular system, but they finally came to a kind of an intermediate kind of a system, because it's in terms of university management and organization, everything has to be adapted to that. It's not that easy. Also the rooms that we have for teaching, we have to divide that in a way. So it's a very drastic change if you go from real parallel teaching to modular teaching. And in Wageningen we dropped the semester system. We have teaching blocks and we have 2 parallel courses always for the student. So morning courses and afternoon courses. It's not so it's still parallel, but within a small. And you can say it's partly modular. But they wanted to go to a modular system, and it's too complicated. So that's.
I teach modular.
Complete modular.
This semester,
Full time.
I had 3 modular courses, 9 credits, 3 credits each. That's why I can find time for coming here. So you finished teaching, and now I have to conduct only the exam. Now another faculty is teaching this period. So yeah, it was, I think earlier it was once it was taught modular, and that time people are happy. But every time we evaluate after this modular teaching, we have a questionnaire. We ask the students to what point you didn't like or do you really like it. Sometimes they feel a lot of pressure, because I have, if it is 2 credits, I have 2 weeks of teaching, and 3 credits is 3 weeks of teaching. So if it is 2 credits, after 1 week I will have a midterm exam. And for my teaching, every weekend I will have a summary presentation by the students. So they will summarize whatever lectures I presented, they will summarize and they make their own PowerPoint.
So it is a weekly summary presentation by the students based on your lectures.
Yes.
So with the modular system, is it like just one subject?
One subject at a time.
One subject for 3 weeks?
Yeah. 3 credits in
As many as you need.
Yeah, 3 weeks is
Okay.
pretty fine for a 3 credit course.
How many?
Okay, how many times do you have classes?
We have 15 weeks is a teaching period.
No, I mean for that one subject.
One
Like,
subject.
let's say you said that 1 credit per week. So if it's 3 credits, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So in 1 week, how many times do you?
One credit is 15 hours of teaching. 15
Okay.
hours.
15 hours.
This is teaching. It's not workload
Of
of
teaching
the
or contact hours. And you have exercises in
right.
It's
in
3
addition.
weeks,
We
that's
calculate it
5.
completely different.
Yeah, it's different.
Contact hours is one thing, but the credits are based on the
actual
load of work for the student.
Yes.
But what we can do is we divided, if it is 15 weeks, we add some exercises, class discussions, but these will, 2 hours of exercise is equal to 1 hour of teaching. Or 3 hours of, that we can decide. Can be 3 hours of discussion or class exercise equivalent to 1 hour of teaching.
I have a question before I move to the next one. This weekly summary is presented by how many students?
Every student.
So, in how much do you give them? Like 5 minutes?
No, 15 minutes.
15
10
minutes.
minutes for one presentation and 5 minutes for,
How many students you have?
that's what. I have already 10 students.
Okay.
Okay, that's easy. Oh, it's
more easy.
It's going to be difficult if you have 100.
I'm imagining like
I have maximum 15 students.
There is a difference, because I understand precisely what you say. In Wageningen, if you teach in the undergraduates, the bachelors, and especially in the first years, you deal with 100, 200 sometimes students. My colleagues of zoology who give basic biology and these kind of things, they
yes.
cell
I totally
biology
feel.
4 times a year, 400 students.
Yes, I totally
Then,
feel that.
then we can go only for multiple choice parts, but they all do, by the way, they don't take classical teaching, they all do online, ICT supported, whatever, but it's completely different from my team works actually 1 or 2 courses in the bachelor's, and for the rest all masters, master level courses, and then we have 25, 30, 25 students, not more.
Yeah. I used to be teaching 50 students in a class earlier, till I come to IIT. But IIT, then I can really innovate. Earlier, it's
You
not
can
possible.
relax a bit.
Well, I guess the innovative have to see like which level of the education in
is, and also how many numbers per class. Like you can go conventional or you can go very high-tech approach, but it depends on your cohort and on your levels of, you can't simply just generalize, you have to go ICT all the
And
time.
I don't know how it is in your universities, but in Wageningen, so you have thinking as we discuss here for the learning process of the student, but from the point of view from the university, it's also a matter of cost of teaching. Budgets are limited, and so the number of contact hours are limited. Strictly, you cannot, if you want to make a course where you have a lot of extra contact hours, you're not allowed to, because it's labor time, and they don't want you to do so.
In AIT, we have the freedom also to innovate our own teaching methods and draft our own curriculum. So if you want to teach a new course, we can immediately do it. We can teach as a special topic and then get it approved maybe the next year or so based on our feedback. So we have the freedom to do our own curriculum, and it's a bit, it's not messy so far because it's scrutinized at the dean's level. So we have to give all the course outline with all the learning outcomes and all this, and to be scrutinized in this. If there is an issue, there will be, because we have a ADRC, the Academic Development and Research Committee. So they will scrutinize all the curriculum. It's a continuous process, but we make sure that the whole curriculum is revised every 5 years. That's a normal procedure. But
Yeah, we can also teach as much as we want, but it's in your free time.
yeah,
So the university says we pay for this, and that's where we get your money for, budget for. And if you want to do more, it's up to you.
Yes.
But we expect you also to do research, to be productive in that way. And if you do not produce enough because you did a lot more teaching, you're
Yes, exactly.
yeah, it's a
So you have to
very difficult skill to balance all these things.
you have to
Good reviews from your students and good reviews from your boss. It's always not easy.
no.
Well, yes, you have this opportunity to listen and to bring back something to,
Sometimes
So,
I
but
also
this innovative teaching, whatever, is an instrument that helps actually also to reduce contact hours. And it's an investment in the beginning, but it can be more effective and efficient later.
because the way I see things is student can always replay the video and, like I said, like pause and think. Like I keep I keep learning on Coursera because the same topic, the same subject, different lecturers give me different understanding. So I find it
Sorry if I ran away, but
no, it's okay.
I didn't write anything there because I will be
It was
presenting.
very inspiring. I just had this.
Thank you very much for your input. I hope I wrote everything down, but if not, I will summarize in a few words, okay? But I was very, very helpful. So I will leave it to the next one, and I'm going that way. Thank you.
So, I'm sorry, I do really like to learn something about the classical approach because during my time things a bit change. You see, like the senior lecturer has different approach. Only during my first year I managed to learn from the really seniors lecturers, professors. But after that they retired. But from my experience from the seniors, say that certain particular lecturer they are very classic but really efficient. During those times they don't have PowerPoint, they don't have this type of things. And from your
But that's
experience,
a skill.
oh come on, share with us.
We have in Wageningen, we have students can elect the best teacher of the year,
we also have.
and then make it's like and the ones who get this they are really good. They're
This
really
is the
good,
thing.
and some of them, if you hear then our students reflect on them, it's like you see sometimes these people doing one-man shows on the stage, and people hang out their lips. That's what they do. There is nothing wrong with it if you can do that. But they are very seldom. They're rare.
But that's kind of the skill
That's
that we
talent.
need to learn. That,
And I don't have
I
that
know, but talent is learnable. There are sometimes.
Actually, how to increase our talent?
Was that at university level, these were skills that were not taught. So you're either a good communicator or you were not. Because I don't know, in most countries when you become a primary school teacher, you are actually taught how to be a
Yes,
teacher.
yes.
In some countries, after to become a high school teacher, it's like you do your BSc and then you do a teacher's course.
Yes, true.
So you have
Not a
nobody
tertiary degree.
ever
Yes,
did
but now
at university lecturer course.
in
So
Australia.
you are either a
No.
communicator then,
In Wageningen, in the Netherlands,
but
we
when you
have.
are young or
No,
now?
no. But
Yeah, but
at
I'm
this moment,
talking
if you
like-
want to teach, you have to follow.
Yeah, just say how about the old times when
Yeah.
Yes.
No, in Australia, they have started a new system. Every new teacher has to undergo a teaching course.
Yes, we
4
do.
weeks.
Would you like to sit there where Giuseppe was earlier?
Well, I was just going to stand next to my notes already. Well, they're not my notes, they're your colleagues' observations that I've done.
Okay.
So we're to look at the third bullet, which is how can aquaculture educators in Asia and Europe collaborate in innovative teaching? Is the point we're going to address. So the first thing that I did, because this isn't my area, so from my understanding, I just asked the question, what collaboration is there? And do we feel that there should be more or there should be less? So there was certainly
Sorry, can you repeat it? I didn't.
collaboration.
That's I've seen, yes.
So I asked what collaboration is there? And is there a need for there to be more collaboration? The answer to which was yes. And in terms of what collaboration is there, there was good engagement with exchanges, because it's funded postgraduate level. But undergraduate teaching, there's no real collaboration and engagement between the two different regions. Primarily because, well, let me finish. Let me finish because we respect the views of the other people. So felt, and the justification was that because it was felt it was too expensive, and that there were language issues. The point was made that each country needs to consider the different levels of educational and teaching collaboration required, then what technologies could be used to support that, what support is required, and what was it trying to do. There was a requirement for greater collaboration to increase the cultural understanding and appreciation that would in itself lead to innovation in teaching. Collaboration to plug gaps in knowledge. So, for example, of Northern Hemisphere institutes like knowledge and ornamentals or tropicals against cold water salmon. To specifically look at increasing the level of collaboration in less economically advanced sectors and countries. So there we're talking about Cambodia and Laos rather than the world developed. And a better understanding of the skills and expertise needed in these fields. And there could be greater innovation, both undergraduate and postgraduate level, in inviting educators from one region to another to plug gaps in the syllabus, again looking at areas such as agriculture, engineering, and drawings. So those are the points that have already been captured. And now it's Richard to comment on that.
Alright, sorry, can I give comments on that? Because sometimes when it says about the expensive things, it actually can be done in a cheaper way, to be honest. It doesn't mean that we have to bring the whole sets of undergraduate students to overseas to experience the teaching. Like this is like, like if we have like just now video conference with good connections, or at least we have like online system, like it probably you don't have to be so formal between two schools or two university. It can be like individual, like for instance, if I'm teaching aquaculture nutrition and Tita is teaching aquaculture nutrition somewhere different part of the world, for instance like in Europe, or probably, let's say you are the one that, temperate culture, water system, tropical, we probably can exchange like one topic, one lecture slide or one lecture video, like, something like that with everything, like, video kind of thing. It can be done because it's just to expose the undergraduates.
Can I interact?
Yeah.
I feel here immediately a difference in concepts, because we do not if you would look to me for temperate, we don't talk about temperate properly. We talk about the mechanisms in the fish and the nutritional pathways. We talk about the relations between whatever, I mean, and it's fish. And then you can talk about the effect of temperature, which is a side effect.
Yes.
And the applications can then be in tropical or Now this, it's important to notify, because even if you go to conferences like from the WAS, they have mollusk culture, they have tuna culture, tilapia culture, and I find it so rubbish because it's stupid. Because if you're a nutritionist, you talk about nutrition. If you're governance and policy issues, then you talk about these issues, and it doesn't matter. The concepts there, whether they are done on tilapia or they're done with shrimp, the concepts are usually the same, and that's what we need to teach to these students. And that brings me to my point also for this already existing collaboration sometimes in undergraduates. It's a concept of how do you develop your teaching. Do I do it on commodities, on products, or on practicalities, on applications, on practices, or do I do it on theoretical concepts underlying these practices?
Yes.
This is a first thing that you need to let's say to agree upon, whether you, and only later you can then decide whether you want to exchange classes or videos or so, because then you talk on the same level.
Agree.
And that kind of let's say discussion about educational concepts, this is insufficiently done, but it is done. And Holland has these NUFIC programs, you probably know them, and they usually do not focus on the master levels, they usually go for the undergraduate level, for university, or even at vocational training nowadays a lot. And that exists, and I don't know, I think DAD in Germany is doing something similar.
Yes.
I don't know from the other European countries that they have these kind of things, but maybe they have also.
Yeah.
So there exists some of these, and then you develop curriculum, not even courses. It's curricula, it's a way of thinking on how do I train, if I want to have people that are ready to work somewhere in the industry or wherever, how do I bring them to that level? And there might be also differences from country to country, because the requirements of the industry and society here in Indonesia might be different from the one in Thailand, and might be certainly will be different from the ones in Holland or in
So if I wrote up a greater need for exploring educational concepts between two regions,
that's a very good summary.
My English isn't so bad. I did a class to try. So I've been working hard.
But do you agree with that?
Yes,
I think so.
But as I said, it means that we don't really need to bring the student over there to change. Like, we come to the point that like that, because the exchange, because that's the innovative part. Because the moment we come to the same level of understanding, this can be done via the video, via the Skype, or a lot of way can be done with a cheaper way. If we have budget, then we go extra miles. Otherwise, keep it to the knowledge can be transferred in so many ways.
I think that as a part of the engagement is important. I'm not talking about the formation of postgrads, but for an undergraduate, it's very good, and I've seen that and I've perceived that. They get really excited about the fact that you've been in another country, done an experiment in another country, or have a student that is from abroad. It kind of gives them the idea that
Motivation.
So I think it motivates a lot.
It's motivating,
and I think it's important, if possible, to have some sort of interaction with other institutions, even if maybe you think they're not going to learn that much because they have one class from this other guy.
Oh no, I disagree.
Maybe you but it's very stimulating, and I think it's really exciting for the students. the idea, oh yeah, we're gonna get this, or we're gonna visit that. So I think as part of the engagement,
Yeah.
That is true.
it's
That I agree
really
with.
exciting.
But now I come, and then you come on the typicalities from each country and university. It's a matter of money.
Yeah.
We had in the past excursions with students for a week to another country, usually in Europe. But at a certain moment, we managed with subsidies, with acquisition of money, to go into Thailand. We went to Thailand with a group of students with AIT. And you know, that's fantastic for the students to see shrimp farming and not only hearing talking. That's absolutely true, but it's a matter of funding, yeah?
Yeah.
And because of the funding, the university stopped these excursions. Now it's too expensive. And then, how do you deal with it?
I have designed a certificate course in that line because it's like a 6 months course and 3 months of theoretical lectures and other things and 3 months only internship, either at AIT or in a farm or a feed mill or a hatchery based on the requirement.
So that's what we have also an internship for each individual student in masters for 4 months. They must go outside Wageningen, so they cannot stay in Wageningen, and usually they go abroad, Malang or whatever.
Well, meaning that we can be only selective numbers of students to go like physically exchange. Otherwise, we can do virtual knowledge translation, like translational, knowledge transfer. Because when it comes to budget, the physical person is restricted, but when it comes to virtual
I think we
knowledge,
have experience in AIMS. So this is ASEAN International Mobility Student. So this is we're sending to another university for one semester. And so this is a many benefit for the student.
Like Erasmus in Europe.
Yeah.
How many students do you send?
Actually, this is limited. So they are in Faculty of Agriculture. We send 10 students to the Malaysia, Thailand, and Japan.
We can actually, we were talking before, within the ASEAN 10 maybe, and maybe ASEAN 10 plus, what we can do is actually, for the bachelor degree in my university, they usually have 1 month internship. So what we can do is that we can exchange.
it's happening already.
My students go to your university for 1 semester, and then we can just we waive the accommodation, we provide the accommodation, they only need to pay for their personal expenses and also for the flight. And I think that would engage the students more because they would be exposed to international situation, and they can critically think the differences, and they can compare what is in Indonesia and what's in Malaysia or in other countries, and so they would have more practical experience during their bachelor degree.
I have a summer school also.
That's a kind of a thing where the two regions, that's your question actually, really can do more in, because if you think many of these things that were written, it's nice to have a video coming from Malaysia here or vice versa, but it's how should I say, it's casuistic, it's incidental issues. But as a structural approach, organizing summer courses where you invite teachers from both sides, that's something that fits within the possibilities of the universities in Europe and also here. I think that would be
So
interesting.
increasing summer courses, internships, and just exposure. But at a bachelor level, at a master's level?
Usually, I think also in master.
It must be master's or
Master.
PhD.
So the internship.
So masters
For
and
bachelors it will be too expensive.
Can I ask something? What you mentioned is AIMS, yeah?
Yes.
Is it working at Southeast Asia level, or is it your university, or how does it work?
Actually, this is the limited number of the university in, if I not forget, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Japan.
Okay, so it's a similar thing that we have in Europe, which is IMS. So like something that could be explored is to see. I mean, I know in Erasmus I've had students that have gone to Latin America. When well, did you go for Erasmus? Oh no, I went to Chile. One of my nephews now decided to go to Chile instead of staying in Europe. So it's something that it's probably feasible to explore in a more formal way to find out. It's not for all students by any means, but there's some tools there that can be a bit better looked at.
All our in Wageningen, all our students have this internship, and 80% goes really outside Europe. And they go to Asia, to Latin America, to Africa, to the United States, Canada, wherever, to Australia, and they have to pay themselves the travel. We don't pay for it. And so there are students who have less resources. They might go to France or to Denmark.
And also for the research, some of your students are in Malang now.
Then we send, and then it's depending on what they like. Because not each student, some students are very, I want something with salmon, and then we don't send them to Samara. And that's the way it works.
We have 3 university students from Wageningen at the moment doing the research.
So that's the reason why also these Wageningen students, we have difficulty to have them going with Erasmus to Portugal or to they like to go
Well,
much further.
if I had the opportunity, I'd choose to go to Asia than to go to Spain.
Exactly.
I would like to give you a point about this because I received a student from the UMT. So before the student coming to our university, we have discussion. So what kind of subject will be taken by the student? So we have a discussion. This is a subject in my university, and there's a comparison. So they will kind of a credit transfer because we are already appointment the content of the subject.
And we also have the share program. Do you know the share program? Between the Asian countries, the ASEAN countries, the share program. So the students get to choose which university they're going for one semester to take one subject, so they can get a credit from it.
Oh, we exchange, you mean? Like the exchange student within the ASEAN?
Within the ASEAN, but the funding is from Europe actually.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
It's a share program.
I would like to have a discussion on the Europe-Asia interaction because within Europe and within Asia, the question is here between two regions. And if I think over it from a European perspective, what would I like to see coming from Asia down to Europe? Something that we don't have in Europe is shrimp. We have everything about fish, yes, whether it is no snakehead or whether wait a minute, whether it's snakehead, tilapia, or it is salmon or trout, it's fish. That's not a major issue. The shrimp is really different, and shrimp is not existing in at least not shrimp farmers. So, to have knowledge of these, I was not speaking. I said we don't need commodities, but having access to that world, that sector, that will be of interest. And for the rest, I think everything from a value chain perspective. Because of course I'm an aquaculture teacher, and our students learn from aquaculture. But if we talk about the exchange between Asia, but even within Europe, it is not a matter only of food and feed, and it's also about processing. It's also about how does it reach the markets in the end. And that's that kind of ideas we try to get in our teaching by inviting people from the industry sometimes to give a guest lecture, not as the common teachers or to give to show something of them, and having these kind of people from industry people coming to Europe, and then on those sectors that we don't have, and it must so not be the farmers. It can be really the ones in the different stages that govern the whole sector. That could be an asset for Europe, I think.
And vice versa, can I ask, in Southeast Asia, would there be merit in people from the European aquaculture industry come to
in Spain a
contribute? A sort of mirror image of what Johan was looking for.
Well, I guess like Johan saying about shrimp, which is like Thailand, like I'm not sure about Indonesia, but Thailand and Vietnam is like quite advanced with shrimp. In that sense, it will only benefits one country. Like because Thailand with shrimp production is quite extensive. Malaysia not so like there are, but not as much as Thailand. Thailand, Vietnam is really advanced in shrimp production, like especially nowadays Vietnamese, although the production is growing, still they are leading to that. So I guess to see as one commodity per se, probably like one way to say it, but it will be something else because if Southeast Asia only has full production, groupers and sea bass is our advantage. Like Malaysia, Indonesia, some of the Thailand produce a large amount of groupers and sea bass. However, our hiccups is sustainable seeds productions. That's the hiccup. Europeans have certain levels of like if they want to have something they want is like certified, like the food. Yes, it's the whole system, whole cycle. For us, like for me, like groupers, more marine fish, like Indonesia are the highest producer of groupers, but still most of the seeds go from wild. They catch it from wild and then they nurse it for a few months and then they export it or they send it to the farming. So I guess I do not know because I'm still young in this type of things, but the way I see things, yes, shrimp could be something that like one country can provide, which is Thailand and probably Vietnam, but it's not going to benefit the whole of the Southeast Asia region and also like Bangladesh. Bangladesh, they are the advantage is on the marine fishes and also freshwater fish. Malaysia, I think marine fish, like as I said, sea bass, groupers. Our advantage on the tilapia, but I think we are still behind compared to Philippines and Indonesia because so these type of things, and I'm not sure whether Europeans go with tilapia for the main fish consumption.
No, but if they, it might differ between the countries, but to my view, most tilapia are coming from China.
Yeah, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. So, but this is the thing. But probably the one that South Asia still lack. I'm not sure if we are aware of that, the regulations and following the regulation. I visited one of the farms in Thailand, which is I really respect the owner and the operator. They have a white spot attack, the one that kills all the venomate, and they can use antibiotic to actually fix it and whatsoever. But because of they try to go through European market, so they being very strict about that. They refuse to use antibiotic, and then they try to overcome by having these sustainable kind of things.
That's exactly what I want to say.
Yeah, so about the regulations, if we can, I do not know, probably the industry, the university, the whole chain of seafood productions in Southeast Asia could go and learn those type of things from the seeds productions up to the manufacturing.
That's what I mean. This value chain.
Yes, it's regardless whatever species it is. That's
And this whole governance system through certification actually dictates a trade, but also automatically it then dictates how the farming has to be.
Yes.
And how the processing has to be.
Exactly.
And so the whole approach, the fact that we are moving to more ecosystem-based systems also here has everything to do with this.
Yes,
otherwise there is no license to sell.
Yeah, like for me, Malaysia, we can be proud of Penang because we produce sustainable oyster seeds. But that's only like one small seeds like
oyster?
Seeds.
Seeds.
Yeah, we like I think Patrick the researchers who are involved with that. So it's a really huge leap for what we call ethics and sustainable aquaculture, because to do that in the right way it's expensive, but if you do it still.
So that we come now on another issue. It fits in this integration. We have had for many years programs in Vietnam. What we noticed is that they were thinking very, also the country as a whole, in producing because they had to produce for the macroeconomy to sell. And like in Cantor University in the time, now it changed, but in the time they had no social sciences, they had a bit of economists, but sociologists looking to the social governance system of a whole. They were not studying it. And in the end, if you want to go with that line that you were talking about, you have to have these interdisciplinary approaches. And that's a way of teaching. Actually, it's also new for Europe. It's not only about biology and physiology, it's also about these kind of things. And that integration we need to have.
That's the rice that Olivier and Lawrence
It's part of that.
I did the comparative study between Rufus and Denmark, and it turns out there's three, each would have to, the stakeholders will have to come up with three top constraints, and one of them have similar result, which is the lack of extension services.
And that's I don't know yet how, but because of the very different societal background in Europe and in Asia, it's been the whole surrounding is so different. That might be interesting for our students to be enriched from both sides. Because also our European students come and work here. I mean,
another thing that I don't know, the way I see things in aquaculture, like if we look at China, I know that it's not a very good example, but we do have Thailand, we do have Vietnam, like a quite massive producer of the aquaculture. But the rest of the country is a very small, tiny country. Like, you know, whereas like European are very advanced and or has all the advanced technology, and the productions of the aquaculture is at a business level. Whereas in Southeast Asia, not many. We are more like
that's how it differs. You know, it's different perspective. I noticed that, like in Indonesia, most of the aquaculture is small scale.
Yes, not Indonesia only. I mean, the whole stretch of Southeast Asia like that.
And different with like Australia, only those that have a lot of money that can be fish farmers, because they have to have sustainable aquaculture system.
So this is the problem that probably we should always emphasize this, because if we when like in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, when we say we talk to farmers, you have to imagine it's big. No, it's actually backyard farmers that they have not even
and they have to speak their language as well, which is sometimes
when the extension is very important in Indonesia, because mostly the same farmer, also the marine aquaculture, also there many is smallholder.
Now the smallholder farming is now almost, I mean, most of the Thai farmers now coming, although we say in record as smallholder farmers. If you go to a farmer, he lives in a 2-storied house, he has one Benz and one BMW in his house, he has a ute, so they are very much advanced now. Many of the Thai farmers have gone to that level because they are very daring to invest money. They invest in farming.
But that's personal. That has nothing to do with the exchange. It's a personal observation, maybe. I do believe that also in Asia you will go away from the subsistence kind of farming. They will disappear in the end. And the sector, I mean, if you talk about quantities for the 9 billion people in the future, that will be produced by commercial farmers anyway. They can be smallholders, but they will be very, very entrepreneurial. Otherwise, they disappear. And that's something that I say in my university. In my teaching, I do want to focus on those, not on the subsistence farm. It's not the future. So also here in Asia, it will change, and you see it in there.
Yeah.
And you see this, it happens in different ways, because in Vietnam they choose for that bulk production for the export, and that has led to consolidation.
Yes.
And all the smallholders are now employees in the big companies, basically. And it's very different here in Indonesia and also in Malaysia and in Bangladesh. It's very, very small.
But still this subsistence farming, we deal with 3,000 hectares of traditional farms for organic production of black tiger in West Bengal and in India. And it's, the entire product is taken by Aldi in Germany. So it's totally
But if you go to
organic.
Bangladesh, I mean, the only thing that is sold export is shrimp, but it's that part of this big aquaculture, and this big aquaculture is mainly freshwater fish and all very small holders. But not subsistence farmers. It's really a market-driven thing, but local, domestic markets. It's interesting to
Now
see.
these rich farmers in Thailand, they are now coming back to the subsistence. That's the new story. They are now started coming with rice and fish culture.
Oh, really?
We work with farmer clusters now. And there are 50 farmers in a cluster. There are 300 hectares of farms now we have identified for rice comes prawn culture.
Why?
Okay, I can explain.
It's coming back.
And why do they do so?
Okay, one of the first reason is because when they did the monoculture things, they exploit the environment, and they have so many problems coming in, and then because of that, well, probably some people start to campaign on, more like eco-friendly aquaculture, sustainable. So they try to come back with the polyculture, integrated culture, and they start to see the functionality of it. It is no longer like monoculture.
Is it from an entrepreneurial business
Yes.
point of view? Is it just as a profit?
It's a business. There is a business because what Thailand is doing is for China.
So that's
Because
interesting.
the Chinese market, they have a big concern on food safety. So Chinese believe on products coming from Thailand, maybe from Indonesia or others. They don't believe from China.
Oh, that has to do with mango package. You see, they sell it now to their producers for China, not for Europe.
But for me, it's not. I do not know about the Thailand, but the idea is we need to educate these small farmers, because what happened to these small farmers, from my personal experience, having workshop with them, they tend not to, they tend to ignore. Like if we say like, okay, you have to feed using this pelleted food because you don't want to pollute the water, we want to take care of. For them, it's not their concern. Their concern is to reduce the cost and maximize the profit. So can you imagine how many if we have at one area? So I think having that community engaged and knowledge transfer and make them understand, if they produce good organic produce which they can export to Europe, which really have this standard of regulation, it can change the scenario of the small farmers. This is what
It's
I
possible.
thought.
That's what I said. 3,000 hectares and 2 hatcheries certified organic. And 3,000 hectares certified organic. Whole product they get 30%, 40% extra money. And that's really good for these small
This is a
farmers.
good
Because
idea.
give you, I did it project in my faculty, agriculture. So the just start from the consolidation of farm. So the farmer will be unified. So the scale is economical scale. But this is in agriculture.
Yes.
I think if this approach is success, maybe also will be useful in other sector such as aquaculture. But still in progress.
Yes,
Everything
because
depends on the market.
Going back on Europe, Asia,
Yeah.
what do you want to learn from Europe?
but for me, the standard, the regulation that need to be transferred, that the importance, so that people understand the integrity and the importance to obey certain
Okay, I'll
regulations.
tell you an example. We work with a Thai-French startup company, And what they have is they have developed a mobile app and a software platform that is called Verificate. I think you would have heard of they are in everywhere on the startup initiative. And we test this in the commercial farms in Thailand. And now we work, and Walmart is with them. Walmart now believes their validation of the farm environment, and now this has become a big network. We work with the farmer clusters, and then we have our customers installing these wireless sensors, and we get real-time data, and this is validated by the mobile app. So a buyer sitting in Europe can look at the actual farm data. Is the farm that they are operating, their customers or their clients are really doing very good farming, or they can really validate the real-time data.
Probably
So
European
this is happening
and
with Europe and Asian farms.
Thank you for your contributions. I have to leave you. You get somebody else now. I don't know which one you're getting. I'm lost. I'm getting onto that. I knew where I was going. I'm getting onto that too. But that's really interesting about the small scale case. That's really, and as I say, Johan was saying, this is something we were looking at a few weeks ago. So this is really interesting, actually. And being given looks.
Live streaming is actually on YouTube already. But what they're doing is some I produced organic microbiome for 4 years. And after that, organic rice and rice microbiome together.
Rice and
I could publish on paper, that's it. That's the end of it. In 4 years it's done well.
Oh, okay. So what happened to it?
It was a market problem because the rice had a market issue. Corn is still accepted, but rice for rice has gone down. So the economics performance is not. They're getting 20%, 25% extra price.
20%?
25%, 23%. No, it's like it's
I had it myself. It took it. You want some more?
so we have no number. Okay, we have one more.
One more.
yes, real life challenges experience how to address them.
Finally to my home station. You already know which topic I'm going to address. So we'll deal with the challenges that you all experienced regarding innovative teaching, but also address them. So we're trying to see whether we can come up with some solutions is a big word. So, what is the biggest challenge you're thinking about regarding innovative teaching? Worldwide. Small and big institutes. Or in your institute.
Teaching for us.
I'm sorry?
What is an innovative teaching for you? Because we all kind of try to give a definition.
Previous group, yes.
And if you tell us first, okay, this is how I see it, then we might try to address your question.
No, I'm the facilitator. No, that's not the great word. You tried the good one.
We decided that innovative teaching is not the same as using all sorts of online tools. That's an instrument. It has nothing to do with innovation.
Because it depends on the internet.
Internet-based tools, it's nice, but it's on itself not innovative. It's an instrument.
So what then is
Innovative educational concepts, that's where we should talk about innovation. That has to do with a lot of the things that Sandra was explaining this morning.
Yeah, that's a real challenge in the classroom.
In doing in classrooms and developing the skills to do so requires educational teaching. Educational skills that we are not accustomed to.
And also, as you addressed just now, to have this technology kind of things, you need to have extra skill, which like some people are they willing to invest on that. Like
extra time.
Yeah, some people may not be really explore.
No, the way what Sarah was telling, that's too much for me. I find it very beautiful, but I'm not going to spend that time myself.
Yes,
But you have to have people doing that. for you.
Yeah.
You have a student who can help you, but
So that's basically a matter of fun.
But for some people like me, I'm like, you know, I can do it easily, so I don't think it's helped me a lot. Like I can easily do that, so it's different. So that's why I say how
Younger
much
lecturers would.
Yeah, I was thinking.
No, it's not necessarily. There are some like young generation that doesn't know how to use the tools as well. So the question is how much that people want to invest learning, like soft skill like that. So they're good in teaching. Not that they're not good in teaching. They can come with very creative idea, like you know, with face-to-face, hands-on, like you know, in the classroom. But when it comes to like you know, technology kind of presentation, they might you know just stone and they can't you know.
But I really think about here this time of funding. If you think because of the discussion that we will have anyway, if you really want to use this internet-based teaching. Courses like Turger was explaining, or some things alike. I find it ridiculous that each individual teacher should learn to develop these kinds of things. What they need to do is they have to have an idea how they want to construct and organize their teaching using these tools. And PowerPoint, a minimum of PowerPoint presentation you can make, but talking to a camera, I mean, you don't need, that's presentation skills, but you, as a teacher, you should have that already. So the rest is playing with this, and that must be a department in your university where they have organized these video rooms with all what he had there also. Wageningen has this kind of people also. So if we want to have support for that, I call in them. I don't want to do it myself. It's too expensive.
That's why I was asking: is it all the subjects, or is it just one or two? I mean,
I think it depends.
Yeah, it's like if you know the lecturers cannot come that day, then probably if they're somewhere around the world, then that would be one of the options, but not for all of the subjects and
well, they do it. They started with that in Wageningen. First, they invite people. You have to volunteer because even if you are just a teacher, it costs you time to reorganize your course for that purpose. And what do I tell at what moment? So you had to have volunteers. So certain courses were, let's say, changed in that system. And that's a limited number because also the people doing the camera work and doing all that kind of stuff, we don't have crews. We have 2 or 3 of these people for a whole university who really do it. And that's, to my view, a bottleneck. Not only here, it's also in Europe. We must have this IT educational support people. Yeah, that's
our students
a help desk.
Yeah, students can do better. I mean, for
Sometimes
example, I used to give students every semester to ask them to make a video of kind of a practical. For example, we have tilapia monosex culture. So I asked them to depict right from the beginning what are the steps. So they make a video, very nice video, and look very professional. So I use them in my lectures in other batches. So those kind of things I think we can get our students to work on.
Like in Australia, right? Because we are discussing on the problem, we're not discussing on the advantage now. What I'm saying, the problem here is, like for instance, yes, they do have these innovative teaching techniques. They have e-learns and they have that video uploaded, so the student will view it, and then they have also the clip. However, the disadvantage of it, some student will email you at 12 midnight, and they expect to have response. You see, these type of things. Yes, you are the principal, instructor for that particular unit, but you can't be in front of the computer to respond because
it's a real world problem because either the most difficult challenge is it is solved if you are only in a teaching institution. You don't have to do any research or outreach, or If you are doing only research, you can excel in research. But when you have three mandates, teaching, research and outreach, you often fail to excel in either one of them.
Well,
Now
I,
let's, sorry, you talk.
I did a course. When I came back to Europe, I decided to do a couple of modules from the Royal Veterinary College in London. I wasn't going to go to London, so they have these distance learning courses. And what you were saying about feedback, they actually assign you the tasks, but they already have the feedback prepared. So basically, you don't need to question. You are like kind of self-learning, basically, but you don't need to be. I mean, I don't remember even emailing ever the teachers. They every task you had already a feedback, not the correction, not the formal correction. There was a feedback.
Can I interact
saying,
on
Did
this?
you touch that?
We develop MOOCs where we have to do this also, and one of the bottlenecks is as a teacher or organizer of such a course, you have to develop the questions with the feedback, and that the people will bring that in. Or apparently Sarah knows this on. They do that for you. You have to, of course, write the questions and to write the proper answers, and it must fit to the learning part that you want to reach. That's a conceptual idea about the education skills. Very often it's very stupid questions. That doesn't help the learning. So that knowing to write it, make the proper questions.
The homework is important. Teachers should have the homework done.
But
What was being said, like you don't need to be on a help desk to your students 24 hours emailing them. If you do the work once, like you say, it's a lot of work, or you transfer to the IT people, but it should be always with the feedback ready there, so you don't have to be on a 24 hours help desk with the student.
there must be a Q&A. There must be a Q&A session regularly. And then you must be there.
Yeah, well, it could probably address that issue because I'm not sure how the system, like in other country or other university, but the one that they've got in Deakin, like when the student watch the video or whatsoever, they have one session that they can send comments and get the feedback. So what happened is also the student will evaluate the lecture or the instructor. So any comments on that will be evaluated by external. So if the person like reply late, like because if they send it at 11:30 at night, like people may not look at the computer anymore, so they will reply the next morning. So the problem here is the student will say bad comments, lack of response from the instructor or something like that. So when evaluators see that, so it gives that image. So they have one session that you have to reply, like, how quick you reply. It's not email, it's like something like comments.
If I say on technical skills where I feel myself short, sometimes you don't learn anymore, is I don't work easily with video clips. Because you can go to YouTube and then you have a video clip of 6 minutes, but you want to pick out only 20 seconds out of that. Yeah, I know that somewhere with Windows Movie Maker you can do it, but to learn to how this, it costs a lot of time to learn this kind of software. I don't know, and so then I think I'm sure I can do that, but I need time to learn.
And you don't want to invest
A
more.
lot of time.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's why you come back.
We have an online questioning system for evaluations and assessments. Software is question mark reception. It's okay. Another software you have to learn and to do. And that's for me about simply time to learn and to dive into. You can spend a lot of hours on developing this. And that's what I see. I'm talking about myself, but I see it also in my staff. The real Wageningen is moving more and more towards these things, also for internally. But the real bottleneck, why it is not moving faster, is simply that time, actually money and time. Money and time. Well, that's a bit the same, eh? time is also money.
But I do not know. Probably like the way things will move in future will be different because there are a group of people that always see the problem as an advantage. They always make things simpler, which they are not researcher, they are not educator, but they are more programmer. You know, they extract the information, and if we tell them what's our problem, they will, start to put all the and they will make our life easier. Probably in a way to make this thing faster, not emphasize this on the researcher or the teacher, but let involve the programmer. We tell them what we want, we provide them what we information, make it user friendly for us, the teacher and the researcher, which is all together to work with. Let the computer part be the computer person to work with. Like bioinformatics, it's not the geneticist the one that work it, it's programmer the one that works in it. But we are the user, we tell them what we want and they constructed it, we make it, and it's being like widely used. And I don't know, that's my 2 cents in it. Because we can't invest any further for that when we need to focus on it.
I saw a presentation of a Swede. He's well right now, but I forget his name now. A Swedish professor. A Swedish professor who has these time sheets of, let's say, how the GDP of a country and the illiteracy, for instance, changes over the last 40 years. And each country is kind of a sphere. And it moves over the years. You see it in an animation.
Yes.
It's so beautiful, and it is so... and it's apparently a simple software, but I have no idea where you get this and how it is done. That can really make differences, but
And we don't know how long it would have taken him to make that.
Sorry?
No idea.
It would have taken him ages to make that.
No, you could be wrong because people who have passion with the programming, they can write very simple.
No, but these things, I'm sure...
It's very easy for them.
There is... I don't think there are real bottlenecks in what the technique can offer. They are there.
Yeah.
And we must not do it all ourselves. There is software available, but you must learn to apply the software, and that costs time.
Probably, that's as I said, we need a group of people they can simplify things with all the complex instruction. For me, it's doable because we've done it with bioinformatics. Like, it can be done. It's just that it's not us that doing it. We require people who have skill in simplifying.
Your dean will not accept that.
Sometimes this is I think, if I have to prepare the slide for my lecture, I have to use some of the software. And we have difficulties. How to use the software so I can put into my slide. So this is, I think that they go for this.
Well, I do not know.
Not for the, the delivery of the system, but we have to prepare ourselves. This is, I think, very difficult to, if I have to, every slide, I have to ask to the another people.
No. You got me wrong. You got me wrong. What I'm saying here is, for instance, like, you know how bioinformatics, if you're working with molecular, when you log on NCBI, for instance, like, it's not biologists who do that.
The professor cannot do that also. Cannot sit a long time in a computer.
It's the programmer.
It's
the programmer, the one that did that. So when we type, let's say, salmon delta 5 desaturase, the genes comes out because we provide them data. So they're doing it. How I'm going to implement in our situation here, if the innovative teaching is a must, meaning that, for instance, if we're going to use tools, for instance, software for presentation, for me, one of the ways to say this is, if you find difficulties, that if the program isn't friendly, you can write to the developer saying that I find it difficult on this, perhaps you want to work on it so that it's user-friendly for us. Often they accommodate that. I've done it before. So always do update the programs so that it becomes user-friendly, easier and easier. So all these things are still developing, and they need people who are hardcore so that they can improve. Otherwise, if people are so easy using it, they don't see ways to improve it. So in a way, for teaching, for instance, yes, because we thought that, this is so difficult. probably they need to hear is whoever they're developing the technique for teaching or tools or something like that, they will make it simpler. For instance, like I've been using Bandicam for recording my slide because I need to show the student how to key in data in the SPSS. So if you just gonna tell students do this and that, they got no clue. So the Bandicam helped me just like, okay, I just record without talking. I can do the talking, I just record the action. When I show them, I'm the one that explaining that. If they need to pause, I just pause and reverse. So, you know, it can be integrated. It doesn't mean like that's what I call innovative. You don't have to be high-tech to be innovative.
Oh, exactly.
So,
Exactly. So we recorded, for instance, anatomy classes. We recorded
yes.
at opening in the
Yes.
dissection and then
Yes.
everything. And what we see,
Yep.
we have it still. We do a normal
Yes.
lab exercise, and all the
Yes.
students are now watching this thing
Yes,
before,
exactly.
and they know much better. The results are much
Yes.
better than before when
Yes.
we were instructing it.
Yes. This
It's
is
just
this is
because you see it. Huh?
yeah.
But
And
you have to record it from before. But
Yes.
it's not that difficult.
Yes, see, because the mobile phone make it, or the camera make it easier. Before this, it's so hard because the camera is so complicated. So this is what I'm saying. It's not us the one that fix the camera. The people see our difficulties, so they start to improve, make it a very simpler camera. Same with this software or whatsoever. If you are working on it, if you find it is very difficult for you to integrate with your teaching, you can just reply to them. Is it possible for you to develop? This is what we have been doing, and then it's very difficult for us, something like that. Because for me, all these people with the programmers outside, they really take the challenge because what they want, they always compete to make things easier. Because I have people working with the computer science, even the algorithm, they will go up to delta 5 seconds or 0.5 seconds. They feel better because they want to compete how quick they can be. For us, 0.5 seconds, what does it mean? Like for us, dude. But for them, if we tell them what we want and they can improve it, it's good for us. Like we don't have to go extended miles to fix things. Let them do that. I mean that's my logic in that because I don't want to invest so much in the programming. It's not my
Can I say something
Yeah.
that pops up in my mind now on this discussion? It's not a matter of skills, but where we really, I think everybody of us can benefit from if we want to go more in this kind of type of web-based teaching, is to have a repository of video clips, of live video clips,
Yes.
or from slides, but of photos. But I think video clips, moving things, where from what you see in different countries and the practices that you can share and that you can use in your teaching.
Yes.
I think that would be very, very useful.
This is one of our program. I think FAAU and ASEAN will provide this. I think it's very useful.
Yeah.
So repository of teaching
Repository of
aids.
teaching.
Yes.
Of teaching, background
Yes.
material that
Yes.
you can clip in or chip in or chip not in,
Yes.
whenever you want.
Yeah, because
Knowledge
For aquaculture.
aquaculture, yes.
We
yes.
have a few like we did a project in Africa, and there was one of the products was short video clips. Like, I don't know about 5 minutes or
It's
something.
already too long. It's too long.
They're all in the YouTube, so
3 minutes is already too long. I want to have 30 seconds.
I think it's better if we can put in the PPT. So that might be 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
But having this, because this is we all have a bit, but if we could share that in a
Yes.
repository, that
ours are
would
in
be make
YouTube, so they're available to the world.
Yeah.
And they're in English because they were two African
Exactly.
countries that weren't exactly Spanish
Yeah.
language. So
Yeah. Yeah. I start to like this
Let's look at
discussion.
challenges we have accumulated so far. In black I wrote like kind of the how to deal with them.
Education, time, funding, training, workload. Yeah. Technical skills, knowledge, and what is ISO.
I think the problem with the time is always going to be there.
Yes.
Because I mean, I'm thinking from my point of view, right? As a previous student who was bored to death throughout life never going to school. You wanted a teacher that had like real hands-on experience. For the teacher to have hands-on experience cannot be a fully dedicated teacher. And then you know, then if it's not a fully dedicated teacher, maybe it's not such an amazing teacher. And it's very difficult because this person, as a student, you are demanding two professions in one. Because I studied veterinary, so it was very good if the teacher had done clinics or had done or was managing a big farm or something. But if he was doing that, of course he was not preparing classes all the time and improving his lecturing techniques. So that I think it's very difficult because you expect the teacher to update the classes. You know, the classes might be there, but if they are there from 1970s, oh no, that's really out of date. So I don't know. I think for a lecturer that struggles with support is
Time.
other things can be solved, like prioritizing here or there or more funding.
You're back.
But to make a good lecturer and demanding the two things at one time,
It's difficult. It's challenging, regardless. It's still.
funding, of course, is always welcome. You can do amazing things. Where are you going to get? That's the question.
It's another thing, I didn't hear anything about the workload. The other groups that popped up, also the workload for the students. The student seems not to be asking for a level of teaching all the time. They kind of feel okay with extra people teaching. It's easy, they can take an hour or you just go home and study. If you do another type of teaching, they have to study before they come to the lecture and then actively participate and then maybe do some things afterwards. So, and they're reluctant. Maybe at the start, maybe also the whole period. Have you got any experience on that one? And do you agree?
Well, I had a complaint, not from me because I just started teaching, but being a student, they're always whining and whinging, regardless. Like, you know, it's not about Generation Y, it's not about that. It starts like when you are a student, like no matter what, they will still complain. Like, you know, thinking of, but the thing that I noticed with this Generation Y or Z, because my brother and my sister, like in that generation, as long as you know where to engage them, they don't complain, especially when it comes to mobile. If you do something with mobile phone and make it like, you know, less effort for them, they won't complain. Anything require effort, they will complain.
But isn't that then also a challenge to get the student also involved in the...
That's why I said
I think that's also a challenge, no?
That's why about workload, they will always complain regardless. So I think we're the one that has to see where we need to balance things up. Like if they complain, they will keep complaining, even like, you know. So
one of the groups we mentioned that, but it was like more in relation to the fact that Tita said like my students have 9 subjects at a time, like through the semester. So that generates kind of a workload, especially because most teachers and the eyes of the students seem to think that their subject is unique.
No, that's for the whole
generates
bachelor
9
degree.
times unique subject. But like
in
we
one
were
semester,
saying,
maximum
people
is
that were
24.
modular, though it's a transformation in the university, you know, it makes it easier in a sense to organize because you're only thinking about one thing and maybe, okay, in the end the day only has 24 hours. If you can dedicate 24 hours to one thing instead of 9, it's probably a lot more effective.
Modular systems have benefits for both students and like
Yeah, I think I'm
Again,
fascinated by the idea.
again, that depends on the student's skill also, because if there are a few students who really like behind, then we'll have complaints from them. So it should be a kind of a homogeneous group who can keep it to that pace. Otherwise
That's
it's
true
not
as
very
well.
effective. And we always give the lecture notes put in the Moodle before, at least one day before the lectures. That's a norm. We should.
you talk about homogeneity of the group, is that a challenge also maybe the size of the group?
It both.
Yeah, it could be. And the size of the group is especially in undergraduates, where a lot of people go to hundreds instead of just tens of students. Yeah, if you have 15, it's very doable, isn't it? If you have 500, then it just becomes a bit of a job.
One thing that popped up at Euros is also the internet connection.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Technology.
Yeah. I think the key for innovative or ICT kind of teaching is the internet. You cannot do with I would say with the area or place where the internet is unstable. That's it.
Yeah, I can see that's a really big drawback in certain places, because you are relying on something that all of a sudden switches off.
Yes.
And you really need to have a lot of tasks prepared
Even
that
today.
can be done on a personal computer with no access to internet. You need to really not just have it all up on the cloud. You need to maybe carry on trusting CDs.
With all the technology, even we are fumbling with the questions. I mean, the question was not audible.